Thank you very much for that warm introduction. Stephen, I hope I impress you tonight. I've been up since 1 o'clock this morning, so please excuse me if I seem a little bit tired. I've been drinking Ambra Start, and I don't think you've got Ambra Start here, but Nutrivirus and Impact and everything. So, just a little bit of, just before I start, I just want to thank Stephen very much. He's looked after me incredibly well, him and Mandy as well. We were in New Zealand. They made me jump off the Auckland Tower, bungee jumping. So, and then obviously today we did the bridge walk, which was awesome. And just the hospitality has really been amazing. It's actually my first time that I've been in Australia. And it's just an amazing experience to be here. And it's amazing to also see how many South Africans actually live here. And Germans. Man, that's interesting. Like every single restaurant that I go to, we always have like a German waitress or waiter. It's quite incredible. But just a little bit about myself. So I got introduced to Mannatech back in 2008. And I probably, like many of you, got dragged to a presentation. Any of you can relate to being dragged to a presentation. And but really, I went to the presentation, and my friend said to me, "Listen, have a look at this. Perhaps it'll be for you, perhaps not." And what really intrigued me was of course, the product. But of course, I didn't get involved because of the product. I got involved because I saw this as an opportunity. And that's really when I saw the circles on the board about how you can start a business. You can start for very low startup cost. You can build it part-time. And I think I also sort of got involved because I had the fear of missing out. Because my two friends got involved and I didn't get involved. So I thought, well, maybe I should just try this. Who knows? Maybe it works. And it's so important when you think about that, because really that evening when I got invited to that presentation, it changed my whole life. And I think many of you in this room here tonight, maybe it changed your life when you were first introduced to Mannatech, or maybe someone shared the product with you. And I think that is why each and every single one of us need to be able to share this with so much confidence with other people, because you can really change their life and take it in a completely different direction. So I got involved, and as Stephen shared, I mean, in the beginning, I got a few people involved with the product and obviously with the business as well. And obviously, it's hard work. It's not easy, especially when you're 22 years old, because you haven't got that much credibility especially with older people. And that's where it's always so important, to work with your upline. And of course, in my upline, I had some incredible leaders that can actually come and help me build my business. So I could really bring the right people in front of them, and that's how you really grow this type of business. So I think, what I want to do tonight, I think what we're going to do is, the first thing I want to do is I want to go through the business plan or the marketing plan, because I think this is something that sometimes, especially for us as Mannatech associates, we sometimes struggle to share the business with other people because we've got such an amazing product. It's a blessing in disguise that we've got an amazing product, but it's also sometimes something that really holds us back, because we tend to always want to share the product with people, and we never want to share the opportunity with other people. And I think it's so important to have a combination of both, where you share the product and you're able to share the business. And I was sharing last night at the Wellington training that if you came to me and just told me about the product, I wouldn't have joined your team. So that's why it's important to really give people, really share both of those avenues with people, because you never know where someone is in their life when you share this with them for the very first time. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the marketing plan, and then the reason why I'm doing that as well is so that each and every single one of you can become familiar with how you're going to share this with other people. I know many of you have seen me do this on YouTube, so it's going to be exactly the same, but we're going to do it in Australian dollars. And I actually don't know what the figures are at all, so I'm actually going to have to get you guys to help me while I'm doing this. Is that okay? You'll help me with that. So I always think the most important thing is when you're sharing this with someone, you have to find a need with people. And of course, I always start off with sharing with people that really 96% of people that lie awake at night are worrying about two things: your health or your finances. And the reason why that's so important is because Mannatech really has a product that can really change their health, and we've got a business opportunity that can really change their finances. And I'm not sure if it's similar in Australia, but in South Africa, 90% of people are lying awake at night worrying about their finances, and only 6% of people are worrying about their health. How many of you can relate to that? Like, that really that we first wait until we're ill, and then we want to start eating healthy and taking supplements and, changing our lifestyle. And really, I think what we need to realize that Mannatech is not a silver bullet approach where you can just take the product and it's going to help with any condition that you have or take away any condition you have. It's just a piece of the puzzle. You still have to look at your stress levels and look at your diet and all those sort of things to have optimal health. So when we look at a company like Mannatech, what makes us really unique is that for me, I always sort of explain the Mannatech concept to people because there's so many different network marketing companies out there. Why would you choose Mannatech? What makes us unique? What makes us different? And I'm sure it's very similar here as well, but in South Africa, people are very negative about network marketing because they perhaps had a bad experience, or maybe they tried it 20 years ago and they spoke to 2 people and no one got involved, so they think it doesn't work, it's a scam. And so you've got to realize that you're working with people that really don't have the right mindset when it comes to network marketing. They don't know what we know about this industry and what a difference this can make in other people's lives. So the first thing is, of course, to share a little bit about Mannatech. Is you want to create credibility around Mannatech. So how do you do that? Well, the first thing for me, which I think is important, is to share that we are a public company listed on the NASDAQ. Now, it's just a little bit of common sense to think to yourself that if you're sharing this with someone, if they are intelligent, they would realize that if it's a public company, it can't be a scam. It means that they're audited 4 times a year, that they're completely transparent, that the Federal Trade Commission and the Security Exchange Control, they look at our figures, they look at what we do as a company. And that's why when you're a public company, you have to be squeaky clean. You can't be doing things that are not legitimate. So, and what's quite nice about this is we've been listed since 1999 on the stock exchange. And the reason why you do that is because you want to make people realize that this is not just a small company. This is really something that's completely open book and it's completely transparent. The next part about it is really to share with people that we've been in business for more than 21 years. Last time I checked, pyramid schemes don't run for 21 years. They might run for a few months and then they get shut down. You see, the amazing thing about Mannatech is we've probably made every single bad decision that you can make as a company. We're still around. And it's only a testament because we've got an amazing product that's life-changing. And if it wasn't for our product, I mean, we've done so many crazy things and we're still around because we've got this amazing technology that's been gifted to us. But I mean, we've been in business for 21 years, and that's important because that means there's sustainability. You might have heard Dr. Sinnott speak about the S-curves that companies go through. We've been through 3 or 4 S-curves. So we've, and you will realize, especially with network marketing companies, that many of them most companies don't make it through the first year, and very few make it to 5 years. One expert once said that if a company hasn't been in business for more than 10 years, you shouldn't even look at it because of the amount of companies that start up and how many of them actually succeed. So that is quite important for me as well, is to really share with people that this is a company that's been around for quite some time. The next thing that I think is very exciting is to be able to share with people that we do business in more than 25 different countries. How exciting is that you can build a global business working on your computer in 25 different countries where you can build a global business? And more importantly than just the 25 markets we're doing business in is that if you look at some of the biggest companies in the industry, they're doing business in more than 100 different markets. So there is still opportunity for a lot of growth. I mean, if you think about the product that we have, our product is so powerful that you can very confidently share this with the Queen of England. Because she's got cells, she needs the glyconutrients, she's not going to get in a modern day diet. So and I think that is why, from a product point of view, is that you've got to realize that when we start opening up in the BRIC markets, Brazil, Russia, India, China, these are the biggest emerging markets in the world, and 2 of those markets have more than 1 billion people in. So that is really exciting if you think about what a huge opportunity this is. The second tier markets are called the Maven markets, and it's markets like Malaysia. Australia is actually is the second of the Maven markets, but Vietnam. I mean, I was listening to Al Bala in South Africa last week. I mean, we're going to be opening all these markets like Thailand, and I mean, there's really a host of countries that are going to open in the next few years. So there's really a global opportunity. And then, of course, the last thing is that you can share with people that we're based in Dallas. That's obviously where the home office is. Now, once you've shared that with people, you want to really, they want to know what is the product that you're selling, what is it all about. And the first thing that's important to share is that we, of course, are in the health and wellness industry. Now, the health and wellness industry has been predicted to be the next trillion-dollar industry. There's really two reasons for it. The first reason is that healthcare is not providing adequate solutions. More and more people today have diabetes, arthritis, asthma, cancer than ever before. And in fact, it's going to get worse and worse and worse. Statistics in America, and I presume it would be very similar in Australia and in South Africa, but is that 1 in 3 people today get cancer. Heart disease is at an all-time high, diabetes. In fact, some studies are saying that, that in a few years' time, we're going to have more than 80% of people are going to be overweight or obese. So I think everyone realizes that the health and wellness industry is a growing industry. How many of you believe that health is your first wealth? You see, the first time that you start looking after your health is when you've lost your health, when you start getting a condition. And I think it's sort of like having that approach of, I'm first going to wait till I make the accident, then I'm going to put on the safety belt. We have to start educating people that, start looking after your health while you're still healthy, and that's really what we call wellness. So that's the first reason. And of course, the second reason why the health and wellness industry is going to become a trillion-dollar industry is because of the aging of the baby boomers. People born after World War II and before 1964. What do all of them want? They want better-looking skin. They want fat loss. They want more energy. And all of this is really fueling this health and wellness industry to become the next trillion-dollar industry. And that is really why I think Mannatech has positioned itself so well, because we've got a product that's completely plant-based. It's something that I think every single one of us in this room here can testify that you've seen some miracles happen with people taking the product. I saw that happen in my own family. So you don't have to convince me that the product works. We have got a life-changing product. And not many companies out there can really say that. And when you're sharing this with people, you've got to make them realize that this is not just another company. This is not just another product. This is something that every single person needs this. And what statistics are telling us, or what economists are predicting, is that a few companies, they are predicting about 20 companies are going to control about 80% of this trillion-dollar industry of the health and wellness industry. Now, there's a few things that you need if you want to be part of this trillion-dollar industry. The first thing would be is that you need something that's unique. You need patents on your technology. You need something that people can only buy through you. Now, what do we have? People can't buy glyconutrients anywhere else but through Mannatech. Or at least they can't buy all 8 essential glyconutrients anywhere else but through Mannatech. That is really unique. We're the first nutritional company in the world that brought a whole new class of nutrients to market. So from a patent point of view, of course, we've got more than 115 patents. Last time I checked, we've got more patents than any other nutritional company, especially that's in the network marketing industry. I know that for a fact. 115 patents. So if you haven't got patents on something, you're really competing for price in the market. You see, everyone has a multivitamin mineral. Everyone has a skincare product. Everyone has an antioxidant. But you see, no one else can get glyconutrients. You can only get that from Mannatech. So that's really our story. That's what makes us different and unique. The next thing is scientific validation. It's so incredible for me to be able to, sounds a bit better, it's so incredible for me to be able to share a product with people where I can really share it with a lot of integrity, where I don't have to try and, because of good marketing or clever marketing gimmicks, you share the product. I mean, we've got more than 17 published clinical trials on our technology, so we can prove that the product helps with cognitive function, digestive function, immune function. Most companies out there can't do that. And it's so amazing when you're speaking to physios and doctors. I mean, in the last while, we've had a lot of medical doctors get on board in South Africa because it's so amazing that you can send them to PubMed and they can actually go and read what the clinical trials are all about and what these products do. And of course, the third thing is you need a technology that's disruptive. Now, you need something that's disruptive. Why is disruptive such an important word? Because think about Crocs. Do they come from Australia? Crocs? No, not Crocs. The shoes. You know, those shoes that most people are, if you're young, you're embarrassed to wear them, but they are apparently the most comfortable shoes out there. But is that disruptive? Of course. If you go and Google Crocs, some people are going to say it's the most ugly looking shoes they've ever seen in their life, but some people are going to say, it's the best shoes they've ever had in their life. Think about like a company like Apple. So, you know, with the iPhone and with the iPad, you know, if you go and Google that, you're going to find when you're looking at reviews, people are going to say, no, Samsung's much better. Or don't buy Apple. Or some people are going to say Apple's much better. You know, so with Mannatech's products, if you Google Mannatech, you're going to find that it's very disruptive. You're going to see positive things and negative things about it. Now, if you can't find any negative things, that's also a challenge because then it's not disruptive. So it's always important when you are sharing this with people is to say to them from the beginning, when you go and Google Mannatech, you're going to find some negative stuff about Mannatech. But guess what? You're going to find a whole lot of positive things. And that's why if people are going to Google something over here, share with them that go to Google Scholar. I learned this from Dr. Nugent. Google Scholar, you can't have opinions. You can only have facts. Because, I mean, if you go and Google, you might find on Google that the earth is still flat. Like, you know, you can find whatever you want on Google. I mean, if I Google South Africa, I wouldn't live in South Africa. Like, but I still live there. So it's very, very important. And this is sort of where you can really educate people, because what you're trying to do when you're showing a plan to someone is you're just trying to answer all the questions that they may have through the process, so they don't think, oh, but you're not sharing that, or oh, I've actually looked at Mannatech online, there's like negative stuff about it. People just want to know that you that you can actually answer the questions that they may have, and you actually want to try and answer that during your presentation. And of course, the last point is that we've got a guarantee on our product. We've got a guarantee on our product. We've got a 90-day money-back guarantee on our product. So that makes it really amazing, because that means that you can share this with so much confidence with other people, because the product is free unless it works for them. How amazing is that? The product is free unless it works. So if someone can actually try the product, if it doesn't work for them, Mannatech will give them a refund. I mean, I think that's why we should be able to share this with anyone. Because, I mean, we've got this guarantee, so you might as well use it. And if people are going to use the product, at least get them to use the product for at least 90 days to get optimal results on the technology. Now, from this point over here, we're going to go into a little bit about like the social entrepreneurship side about Mannatech, that we, that we've got this mission 5 million, and our goal is to link 5 million children with 5 million consumers. And the nice thing about this is people also want to know that they're giving back to the community. And you get to actually, it was amazing. We had Sarah Bowen in South Africa last week, and it was amazing. I mean, we're going to be feeding more than 7,000 kids are going to be getting these products on a daily basis in South Africa, every single day. And I think most people are already using a multivitamin mineral or antioxidant or omega-3. And you can always say to people, if you're already using those products, would you consider switching over using a real food product that's completely plant-based and being able to nourish a child for a whole month in the technology as well, and being able to get loyalty points in it. So then you could elaborate a little bit about the Mission 5 Million project. And then the last part is really the business. Now, I believe that this is the greatest business on planet Earth. And there's a few reasons why I say that, because you see, with Mannatech, we're not interested in where you've been. We don't ask, when you're sharing the presentation with people, we're not interested in where they've been, what education they have, if they've got a degree, what school they went to, how much money they've got. None of those things matter. You're only interested in one thing, and that's where that person wants to go. It doesn't matter if you can be from Yale or from jail. Makes no difference. Anyone's welcome at Mannatech. So when you're explaining the business model to people, this industry is a very, very fast-growing industry. This, just last year we did over between 182 and 189 billion dollars. So it's growing rapidly every single year. Warren Buffett endorses the industry. Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, there's so many people that are saying this is the business of the 21st century. But just a few points on this. The first thing is it's low startup cost. You don't need $100,000 to start your business. You can start your business for $500 and you're in business and you get some product for it as well. It's a low startup cost. You've got no risk. It's a risk-free business. The third thing is you can build a business internationally. I mean, think about when you want to open a business in the UK from Australia, a conventional business. It's going to cost you a lot of legal fees. You're going to have to probably employ a large amount of people, get licenses and all those sorts of things. With Mannatech, you can build your business. They've already done all the groundwork. You just have to pick up the phone and contact someone or send them a Facebook message and you can be in business and build a business all over the world. So that's something that I think is also really, really exciting. And then the last part about this is it's really a turnkey business. And turnkey really means is that they've done all the groundwork. You just can turn the key and you can get started with your business. You don't know stock. You don't buy products and go and sell to all your friends. You don't do any deliveries, driving around in your vehicle, delivering products to people. And the last part about this is you don't handle any cash. Everyone buys their own products directly from the company. So this is the only part that you want to make sure these presentations aren't longer than. Your whole presentation should never be longer than an hour. We should be done with this presentation in another 10 or 15 minutes. So, okay, over to the next page. Most people, when you explain this to them, they're very skeptical about where does the money come from. Because for me, for the first 3 months, I didn't understand where does all the money come from. How do people make all this? How can you make all this money? And then, of course, you want to go in and explain to people that really what Mannatech does, in the traditional distribution model, 20% of the money would normally go into production, and 80% of the money would go into advertising, marketing, shelf space, agents, brokers, all those different things. And that's why, if you think about it, why did, in the Industrial Revolution, it was much better to export steel, where today it's not like that anymore. I mean, if you think about all the raw materials, and obviously in Australia you've got a lot of raw materials as well, but in South Africa we've got so many raw materials, but all our raw materials are all going to China, and then we buy them back at like 1,000% of the price, because they've gone and created like motor vehicles or whatever they've done. And I think that's something that's so important, is you've got to explain to people where the money comes from. And what we do now with Mannatech is we put 56% of the turnover goes into research and development. It goes to run the company. It goes to pay the staff. So that goes towards your running costs. Then what we do is 44% of the money that's left over goes into incentives, and it goes into the commission, the compensation plan, the marketing plan. So when people say to you, well, if this product is so good, why have I never heard of it? Then guess what you say to them? It's because no one's ever told you about it. Because it's not going to be on television. It's not going to be on radio. You're not going to see it in magazines. The only way that people are going to find out about this is if we open our mouths and go and share this with people. So we all share in the 44%. So out of this 44%, they'd pay this commission in 2 different ways. The one way is, of course, if this is money and time, they pay it, I don't know, passive income or residual income. Now you're only going to create a residual income if you've got automatic orders, if you've got customers that are happy with the business. You're not going to build your business to regional director and think it's going to be, you're going to earn that income for the rest of your life. It doesn't work like that. You have to develop the right leaders and have the right leaders in place to make sure it does become a residual income. I can honestly say to you, for me, for the first time now, probably in this year, it's where I can feel comfortable to leave my business for 5 years and I can come back and my business would have grown. I could never have done that 3 or 4 years ago because I would have been too nervous, because I didn't have the right leaders in place. Some of my legs still need a lot. I needed to still develop the culture and the leadership in those organizations a lot more. So then, of course, you've obviously got the active income. Now, the active income is obviously when you're recruiting new people or getting new people on board into the business. And so it's quite nice. Every business period, you get 2 different checks. So ultimately, what do we do as associates? All that we do as associates, we're setting people up with their own account numbers. How much do you save when you're an associate on the suggested retail price? About 20%? Is it the same here? About approximately 20%? when you're associate, it's about 20% cheaper than what the suggested retail price would be. So all that you want to do, if someone's a product user or if they are a business builder, you want to set them up with an account number so they can save money on the product and buy directly from Mannatech, and Mannatech will ship it directly to their address, wherever they live, in any one of the 25 different markets. There's 2 different ways. Well, there's 3, but we're only going to explain 2 ways of getting this account number. The one would, of course, be by being a preferred associate. And the other would be by being an all-star. What is the difference between these 2 packs? Of course, on the all-star pack, you've got unlimited income potential, whereas at the preferred associate pack, you can only earn a few commissions, but you can always upgrade from a preferred associate to an all-star. It's always important to share that with people as well, because if people think you're trying to sell them on an all-star pack, they might not get involved. And I think it's always easier to say to someone, listen, why don't you start as a preferred? You can always upgrade later when you want to build the business. I think people it's sort of like when you walk into a BMW dealership, you can buy a 1 Series, a 3 Series, a 7 Series. But I think sometimes people appreciate when they know you're going to make a lot more commission selling them a 7 Series, but you sell them a 5 Series because you know that's probably more affordable for them. So I think it's so important you ask the right questions, that you meet people where they're at. And instead of just trying to make a sale once off to make a direct bonus, rather try and build that relationship and and have a customer for the next 20 years. You know, for me, I'm happy if someone just uses the product for, even if they just order 40 points a month, 40 PV, that's perfect. I don't mind that at all. I'd rather have that and have a satisfied customer than have someone order 400 PV once off and never again. And I would also suggest when you're speaking to people about the, I'm getting a bit hot, I shouldn't take my loosen my jacket. But I'd also suggest if you are sharing the product with people, instead of putting them on all the products, like the GI Pro Balance, the Omega 3s, all the core 5 or 6 products, it's never a bad thing to maybe start them on just 1 or 2 products, or maybe 3 products, something that they can afford. And I know sometimes we're very eager to put them on everything because we know they're going to get better results. But sometimes people appreciate it when you just start them on 3 products, and then say to them, listen, obviously you're probably going to get better results using all the products, but why don't we first start you on these 3 products so you can become familiar with the products, and you can always, and if you're not getting the results you want, then we can always add some more product. But if you've given them all the products we have and they don't see results after the first 2 months, they're going to say, well, I've tried all the products, it doesn't work. But if they've only used 1 product, you can always then add another product. And I've just found that people really appreciate that a lot as well. So what does the preferred associate pack cost? $150. And of course, you can explain to them that they get product for that. They're not just putting money into a scheme, you're buying product. And the all-star pack? $590. Why don't you guys just make it 600? Right? Make it so much easier. Nah, Jackie. $5.99. Yeah. And you can move this one. You see, if you add the $1 here, you can always just take the $1 off here. So it'll be $149 and $5.99. Hey, Stephen? So, okay. So what do we do now is that you also explain to people that if you look at the active incomes, is you explain what the direct bonuses are here. So, of course, if you are an all-star and they're business builders, if they are sharing the preferred pack with someone, what is the direct bonus on the preferred pack? $15. And on the all-star pack, it's probably $75. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to quickly run through how the power bonuses work. And you'll actually explain to the associate how the power bonuses work. Now, there's a very exciting new bonus that's come out called the 1-2-3 bonus, which is launched in, believe all the markets except for Korea, because I think they're just too smart. They'll just sign up people that don't even exist and make lots of commissions. But anyways, on that pack over there, on the 1-2-3 bonus, every single business period, if you sign up 2 all-stars, you're going to get paid for a third direct bonus. So, for instance, your objective with people, you see, you have to lead people and tell them what they need to do, because people don't know what they don't know. So if someone starts an all-star, what's the first objective? The first step is to get them to sign up 2 all-stars. So if they do 2 all-stars, it's $150. if they do that in the first business period, you should be setting the pace. They're obviously going to earn an extra $75, which is $225. The next step is going to be, perhaps they do this in the first week, or perhaps they do it in the first month. But you want to do this in at least 28 days. We're just going to help them do exactly the same thing. And of course, then they're going to earn another $225. So just for doing those 4 All-Stars, they would have earned $450. And of course, because you've signed up for All-Stars, in the new 1, 2, 3 bonus, you've got 3 complete business periods to make sure that you sign up all 4 your All-Stars. So that's also, but just check with your upline, I don't want to go into too much depth on that, but that's really how it's working now. And then, what's the power bonus? 400. So what this really means is that someone spent $598 to buy a business. They got probably $700 or $800 worth of product. They shared this with a few friends, and they've made more than $850. Think about a conventional business. It takes people years to make back the capital outlay that they've spent to make back that money. Yeah, you can do this just in the first week or the first month. Even if you take 3 months to do this, it's still better than anything else out there. So it's important to explain to people because you want to get them to get the money back in their pocket as quickly as possible. But if you're only talking to people about the product and not to people about the business, you're never going to have a team of people that are going to work with you, sharing this information with other people. You need a whole bunch of people to work with you. You see, the industry works on a lot of people just doing a little bit. But in the beginning, you obviously as the leader, you have to do a lot to get the right people. So, okay, now we're going to go over to the passive income. Is this pretty straightforward? Do you think you could do this? The best way to do this is to practice it a few times. And you don't have to do it exactly like I do it verbatim. You can actually put change it around and do it in a way that you feel more comfortable. But now, of course, you want to share the passive income with people. That's, of course, the most important income. This is the income that's going to come in when you go on holiday. Or when you are retired one day and you don't have to work for your income anymore because you've got people ordering the product every single month. Now, of course, what is the 100-point automatic order? How many dollars is that for 100 points? The minimum. 125. So $125, that's one active order. So you can maybe write that next door and just say, okay, that's one active order. That's for you to be active in the business, to be able to earn commissions. And also just because you have to be a product of the product. You can't tell people how amazing Mannatech is, but you're not using the products. It's like if you work at BMW and you drive a Toyota. Like, I mean, if you should be a product of your product. And, okay, so what are we going to do now? Some people like to draw the circles, like, here's you, and you find 2, you find 2, or here's you and you find 6. You don't have to do it like that. You can actually just explain to people, how it works by just saying, here's you. The first thing we want to do, we want you to share with a few people that you think can benefit from the product or the business. So the first goal is for you to build a team of 6 people that are using the product on a consistent basis. Now, everyone knows at least 6 people. If you don't know 6 people, then you need to read a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Or there's a book that Les Giblin wrote called Skill with People. But honestly, I also think, and this is just a bit of training, but if you're getting a brand new person started and they haven't got enough influence now to get 3 or 4 people on board, then you're probably spending your time with the wrong person now. Perhaps rather let them be product users for now and look for someone that can at least get 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 people involved. That's just in my experience. And this is not, I think on my trip here, I don't want to put honey around your lips and make it sound good. That's not what I'm here to do. I want to tell you the truth as it is. If I'm signing someone up and they can't even sign up one person, I'm wasting my time. It's better for me to go out there and for me as a leader to be in the field, getting new people started than trying to help someone that can't even sign up one person. You don't need any training to sign up one person. Anyone can sign up one person. Or at least 2. Or at least 4, 5, 6. I mean, I almost want to go as far as to say, as if you want to become a presidential director, you're going to have to sign up at least 40 people personally. That old thing of saying to someone, oh, okay, here's you, and you sign up 4 people, and they're going to sign up 4, we sign up 4, we sign up 4. That doesn't exist. Maybe if it was a pyramid scheme, it would probably work. But in network marketing, it doesn't work that way because you're working with people. So, but in my experience, I've got quite a few presidentials in my organization. I've got a few silvers. When I spoke to all of them, I asked them, how many people did you have to sign up personally to go presidential? And you know what most of them said? It's around between 30 and about 50 people. So if you're looking for a presidential, if you're looking for eagles, there's a saying that says, don't send ducks to eagle school. So you're really looking for people, and I'm not saying don't sign up people that want to be product users. You sign up everyone you can, but make sure you're spending your time with the people that are actively building it, that are willing to put up their hands and go and do the work. So the first objective is to build a team of 6 people. Now, of course, your product users are not going to go and share this with, maybe from the beginning, not going to share this with other people. So you're looking for your business builders. So the first objective is build your team of 6. That's called the team bonus. 6 people using the product. And what is the team bonus? 99? 90. Okay. $90. Okay, $90, building a team of 6. This is your first objective. Step 1. What is step 2? Step 2 is to look at your team of 6 people and try and see which of those, try and identify a few people in your team of 6 who would like to build the business as well, or would like to earn an extra $90 to subsidize their product. So identify 2 people. If you've got 6 people that want to do it, of course, that's fantastic. But in my experience, that doesn't normally happen. You might only find 2 of them might want to build a business, or maybe you have no one that wants to build a business. You might have to find a few more people. But your next objective is to get to a team of 15. So you can explain it like this because you don't have to draw the circles. You don't have to go, because when you draw the circles, then, I mean, I've tried everything. I tried to draw the circles upside down, like, you know, in the beginning, because I thought I'd do it. Because the first, you see, the thing is, I'd never even heard of a pyramid scheme in my whole life. I was so excited when I saw Mannatech the first time. I saw the circles. Here's me. I'm going to find like these 2 people. And if they find 2, then it's going to be like 6. And if they find 2, it's 15. And if they find 2, it's like 30. Plus the original 15, it's like 45. And I explained that to my best friend. He said to me, but this is like a pyramid scheme. And I said, what is it? What's wrong with a pyramid scheme? I had no idea what a pyramid scheme was. So then I thought, well, I don't want that to happen, to have a bad experience like that again. Maybe I'm going to draw it upside down, you know? So now you can just explain it like this, and you don't have to sort of draw out the circles. And then I even try to do squares. Like, how many of you even try to do squares? I mean, it's like insane what you do, like when you know, you just try and do whatever it takes, you know, just to get people on board. But anyways, so of course now you're a regional director, and at regional director you earn from 150 till where? I think also it's important, I think, to do minimums and maximums. So sort of what is the absolute minimum? You'd rather want to under-promise and over-deliver than tell someone you're going to earn 150 and earn 149 and they're disappointed because you lied. Rather say it's like $100 from $100 to $300, whatever it may be. In my experience, just in US dollars, but regional directors in South Africa would earn anything from $75 US dollars to about, the highest I've had in my group is about $250. Maybe they've got a very big leg below them and they've just put a bit of volume in. But so you would say this is about 150 to 300? So that would be your step 2. I think that people, if they're doing the work and they're speaking to enough people, there is no way that someone can't go regional in the first 1 to 3 months. I think like it's all about your mindset. And if you don't know any better, then you see, for us, because we've been in the business for a long time, we sort of have limiting beliefs about it. But a brand new person, if you tell a brand new person, listen, people in Mannatech go regional in 1 month. That's what they're going to believe is that's what you're supposed to do. You go regional in 1 month. They don't know any better. How do you go regional? Well, you just share this with a few people. If someone's excited, they can do it very quickly. And I'm sure there's people in this room here that they went regional director in 1 month, or in less than 3 months. So explain to people that this is 1 to 3 months. And the reason why you want to do that as well is to get people out of this mindset of it's a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not. It is hard work. You're going to have to put time and effort into it. Now, what is step 3? Out of the team of 15, not all 15 are going to be business builders. You might have 2 or 3 people that are building the business. Once again, what are we going to do? We're going to help those 3 or 4 people become regional directors. And of course, then you're going to have more than 60 orders in your business. You're called a national director. And at national, you earn anything between? $700 to $900. I mean, maybe chat to your upline. I mean, something that I always do is, well, I don't do this with everyone, but with most of my leaders, I always ask them, you know, what was your check like? Because I want to make sure when I'm doing the plan that I'm explaining it properly, because I think that's quite important as well. So, of course, you want people to be wanting to do this in 3 to 6 months. How many of you have had the experience that it's much better to do this fast than to do it slow? It's, did anyone in this room here do sports? Okay, now it's much worse for guys because you've got hair on your legs. But how many of you ever had a plaster like around your knee or like on your leg and you have to pull it off after the game? When I used to play rugby, I always used to get like the biggest guy on the team to pull off the plaster because I know it would be the quickest. You know, and that's sort of a little, you know, because you could always try and do it yourself and you do it like slowly and it's so painful, but it takes a long time. And it's sort of like when you build this business, you can either do it painfully fast or painfully slowly, but it's going to be painful. And I think that's what we sort of have to get around, that it's not just, you know, you know, it's when you're going out there, you're going to have to temporarily let go of your self-esteem or your ego for just a short period of time, so you can have a very successful business. Anyway, next step, step 4, 200. Once again, you're obviously looking for a few key people. You see, you don't need everyone to build the business. You only need a few good people. I mean, think about. I don't want to get into like religion or anything, but like if you think of Jesus Christ, he only discipled 12 people to influence billions of people's lives. Not 100, not 500, 12. So I would say in your whole Mannatech business, you're only really going to become a platinum presidential, you're only really going to really put 90% of your time in about 12 people. Does that make sense? So, and it might take you years to find those 12 people. I mean, my biggest distributor, I only signed them up 3 years ago. And I was already a bronze presidential. And that's right now, but I still have the belief I'm still going to, he's not the biggest is still coming. Like, I honestly believe, and maybe some of you would agree with me, but honestly, I'm telling you now, the biggest person hasn't been signed up in Mannatech yet. They don't even know about this. You have to have that belief about this, that the biggest people haven't been signed up yet. I mean, 25 markets. Do you think if we open another 75 markets, we're not going to find a few hundred platinum presidentials? So, 200 orders, you call it executive director, and an executive, you earn anything between? And? Three. And people should be trying to do this in anything from 6 to 12 months. Some people might do it much faster, but I think let's set the pace that that's actually very doable. You see the amazing thing, and I'll share a little bit more about that in the training. You see people get involved in network marketing. They want to earn $2,000 a month on a part-time basis, residually. But they won't spend one day learning how to contact and invite people. They won't spend one day making a names list. But you think about people that studied, I mean, how many of you, I'm sure a lot of you in this room have degrees. I mean, I remember how hard I used to study for my exams, and like just to pass an exam, and I didn't even earn nearly, you can't even earn nearly in a degree what you can earn being a silver presidential or gold presidential. But yet you'll sit there for days and days and days behind the books to try and learn all the work. And I think it's just about putting the same activity into whatever you do in your life. Like how you do something is how you do everything. And So I think 6 to 12 months to become an executive is really very doable if you're going to go out there and go and share this with other people. I mean, think about a conventional salesperson. If you're a sales rep, if you share with just a few people a week, you get fired. But in Mannatech, if you just share with a few people a week, then you're a superstar. It's just like we all have to change our mindset. So obviously the next step is presidential, 600 orders in your business. And that should be anything then from $4,000 or $5,000. It starts at 7? And 2? 8 or 9. And this is a 12 to 48 month process. And I think the reason why I always show those figures there is because then you already explain to the person, listen, this is going to be hard work. This is not just going to be something that I'm going to sign up today and I'm going to be a multi-millionaire in the next week. It doesn't work that way. It's really, this is hard work. It's just like anything out there. I mean, no one's going to pay you $7,000 a month residually and you're not worth it just for doing nothing. And of course, now the next part is, once you become a presidential director, it's very important to explain to people, what did I say through the whole presentation? You get to regional director, you help 3 or 4 people go regional, you become a national. You then help someone go national to become an executive. So once you become a presidential, you will never earn more money unless you help other people become presidential. So what happens is that if you've helped, and you don't even have to do this in circles, you can actually just do 2 times presidential equals silver, 3 times presidential equals gold, 4 times presidential equals platinum. But then you can actually explain to people that, to become a platinum presidential, you have to help 4 different people become a presidential. So if you've helped 2, you become a silver, 3, you become gold, and your income can't go up unless you help someone else do that. And it's so nice. If you're busy building an organization, it's so nice to be able to say to people, you know what, the first time I get paid working with you is when I help you go presidential. I work pro bono until you go presidential. And that's really what makes this business so amazing. And then, of course, the last one is when you help the 4th person. It's also quite nice to be able to explain to people, an example like this is, you might have someone that's over here that might earn a lot more than you because he might become a double platinum. Maybe he helps 8 different people go presidential. Yes, you might have 9 presidentials in this organization. They only count 1 for your business because you've only got 1 qualified leg. That guy might have 8 different qualified legs, so he earns more than all of us. So it's important to explain that, because then immediately why you explain that is because you get away that whole stigma of, oh no, the people that get in first make all the money. You're explaining to them, actually, you know what, I earn more than someone above me. In fact, I've got someone in my downline that earns more than me. I don't have that at this stage, but I've got 2 silvers and 2 different legs that are qualifying right now, and I'm also a silver. So I mean, that already would explain to you that the people that get in first don't make all the money. I mean, Dr. Steve Hines is a silver presidential. I'm probably like 100 levels below him. He's got platinums in his organization. I mean, it's amazing. So very important to obviously share that. And then just the last thing, has this been of value to you? I hope so. I mean, I wake up early for nothing. So it's quite important also, the last thing that you're going to end off when you're explaining this to people is, when someone looks at this, they're always looking at what's in it for me, what's the benefits, and what are the risks attached.
The volume's sort of been lost, so she's going to try and fix it up for you.
Right, okay.
Sorry.
Oh, in the mic? Yeah. Or in this part over here?
No, it's this.
Oh, okay, no, I can just carry on speaking like this. So people want to know what's in it for me. So have any of you ever heard of primary motivating factors? So you can write down, you can say, when you look at anything, you always look at what the benefits are or the primary motivating factors and what the risks are. So explain to people, you know what, the most people get involved in this because of what the product can do for them. So for the health and wellness. You can explain to people that a lot of people get involved in this because of the extra income. Something that's also very important is before you even show them the business plan, tell people, why are you doing this? If you don't know why you're doing this, then yeah, that's really a big problem. You have to know why you're doing this. Otherwise, you're not going to go out there and go and share this with other people. You have to have a big enough reason to go out there and go and share this with people. And that's what it comes down to, the reason why you want to do this, and the dream or the why, all those sorts of things. Extra income, travel incentives. A lot of people, believe it or not, get involved because they want to go on a holiday. Some people get involved because the business is inheritable. If something happens to you, your business carries on. My best friend that I got involved probably 6 years ago, his father started building the business up until national, and he died in a motor car accident probably about 5 months after he started building the business. And they were qualifying at, is that working? Yeah. Is it better when I speak with the mic? Okay. So anyways, he was qualifying at national director. He passed away, and his mother, we changed the account. His mother's been earning 5,000 Rand, which is about $500 US dollars, every single month now for the last 5 years, because of what he'd done for those first few months while he was building the business. And I think that's what makes his business so unique. So it's inheritable. The next thing is that you've obviously got tax advantages for having a home-based business. Some of the other reasons is, there's many other reasons. Some people get involved because they want to bring their wife home from work, or maybe to leave a legacy, or whatever it is. But explain to people what some of the reasons are why people do this. To be your own boss. Maybe perhaps because the 40-40-40 plan is not working anymore. Any of you familiar with the 40-40-40 plan? Okay, so... but explain that to people. And then, of course, talk to them about what the risks are. You have to make people realize when you explain to them the risks that this is a no-brainer. So you can explain to them, well, the only risk you have is buying the preferred associate pack, which is going to cost you, I think, $150, or buy the all-star pack, which is going to cost you $498, if I remember correctly. $598. And you're getting product for that, so there's really no risk. And on top of that, you've still got a 90-day money-back guarantee. So this is a no-brainer. Like, in fact, when you are explaining this to people, is that they're either going to be a business builder, or they're going to at least use the product for 90 days. That, when you walk into a presentation, that's got to be your attitude about this. I'm either going to sign you up as a business builder, or you're going to use the product. It's just, you have to have that belief system. You can't walk into a presentation and think, oh no, this person's not going to get involved. You have to have that belief that every single person I speak to is going to get involved. If it's not now, it doesn't mean it's never. It's just not now. A no is not never. It's just not now. So you can explain that. So this is how you want to expand the business, and make sure that, obviously, I've gotten a bit of training while I'm doing this, but make sure that this should never be longer than an hour max. Because if you take a really long time to explain this to other people, guess what they're going to say? Do you know what? I haven't got the time. I haven't got time to sit down with someone for 3 hours every day. So this should only be 1 hour. Use the tools at your disposal. I mean, for me, I never go into massive detail about the product when I'm doing the business plan, because I've sort of covered the product in the area over here. But what I would do is, I've covered a little bit of the product, and you can go a little bit into it over here. But always take a booklet with you. I think that's something that's so important. Never go and do a presentation without taking the story booklet with you, where they can actually see the product. Taking a CD with you, or a DVD, something that they can put in the vehicle when they're driving home. So make sure you've always got that you're always equipped. It's like you're not going to go and fight a war with rifles, but you've got no bullets or ammunition. So make sure you always have information with you. You should never leave a meeting without booking another meeting. It's called ham, bam. Have a meeting, book a meeting. Or ham, fam. Have a meeting from a meeting. If you are explaining this to someone, or explaining the product to someone, and you haven't booked a follow-up meeting with that person, then you haven't done a meeting. So, does that make sense? Because when I'm doing a presentation with someone, and I'm leaving the information with them, it gives me a reason to do a follow-up with them, because I'm giving them information, so I'd like to get it back from them. So that's when you can book the follow-up automatically. So is everyone okay? Up until this level, I'm going to go into a bit more training now on how to do this. Go into everything just very quickly. And I think the most important thing, if there's one thing I want you to leave with tonight, it's that you have to launch your business. Like, sometimes you get to a stage where your business might not be growing as quickly as you'd like it to grow. There's only 2 ways a business grows. The one reason how you get your business to grow, this Koki. Do you call it Kokis or not? We call it. We call these Kokis. I mean, I don't know why we call them Kokis, but we call them Kokis. But this Koki is dry. So I don't know why they call it Kokis. I always ask for Kokis in America. They're like, oh, that's a Koki. That's a Koki. Okay, so how do you get your business to grow? The only thing that you can do, there's only two things that makes you have momentum in your business and makes you get growth in your business. The one thing is, what's the daily mode of operation? So first of all, what is your daily mode of operation? You see, sometimes we go into micromanagement and we say, oh, I'm a national director. My people, none of them are showing the plan. That's why my business is not growing. If my downline just registered a few more people, then I would be executive director. Your business starts with you. It's not about you, but it starts with you. And your team is going to do what you do. And if you're not out there presenting the information and bringing new people on board, you can't expect your team to do that. It's like when you go to war and you're the captain of the troop, you are the first person that goes in. You don't wait for, you don't tell everyone else to go. It's not like chess, where if you're the king, you want to go in first. You don't wait for all the pawns to go and do everything. And especially in our business, you have to, as a leader, you have to be in the field. Daily mode of operation, that's the one thing is, because you have to ask yourself every day, once your team starts growing, is how many people are sharing the Mannatech story with other people today? If it's only you, it's because you haven't got the right team around you yet. Then you need to be sharing this with more people to find a few people that want to do this as well. The next thing is getting people started right. You have to get people started right. We do all the work to sign someone up, but then we don't spend time with actually showing them. How many of you got kids in the room? Most of you. My fiance is actually pregnant, so I'm actually going to become a father in January, which is very exciting. But on that note, think about if you've got a child. You can tie their shoelaces every single morning before they go to school, and guess what? They're never ever going to be able to tie their shoelaces. Yes, it's going to take you much longer teaching them how to do that, and it's going to be a bit frustrating because instead of it just taking 5 seconds, it might take 5 minutes or even 50 minutes for them to do it for the very first time. But guess what? If that child does it the first time, guess what? They feel proud because they can do it themselves. And that is how you want to build your business. So if you have done all the effort signing someone up and they want to be a business builder, spend time showing them how to make a name list. Find out why they're doing this. Teach them how to contact and invite people. Get them familiar with how to work the success tracker. Yes, it's a mission to do those things. But guess what? If we want to build a successful, sustainable business, you have to do those things. There's no way around it. I mean, someone's saying they want to build a business, so put the time and effort into. I always say to my group, you find someone, you train them, and you release them. You want to make them independent of you as quickly as possible. So on the daily mode of operation, the most important thing is that I think for the whole of Mannatech, we need new blood, right? Would you agree? Like you need a whole new bunch of people to get started. Like, I mean, there's many positions open for platinum. Like there's many positions open for presidential. So we need a whole bunch of new people. You know why? Because new people create excitement. New people remind you again why you do what you do. When you have someone that goes to the regional and they're so excited they've just gone regional for the very first time, or national, or that's what creates excitement in the business. That's what creates a buzz in the organization. So what you want to do is, for you to recruit new people, who do you have to recruit first? Yourself. You see, some of us haven't recruited ourselves. That's why we're not sharing this with other people, because we're not sold on this. And if you think about it, I've been explaining this on my trip, but needs times faith equals motivation. Everyone has needs. Every single person. I mean, Maslow spoke about his hierarchy of needs. Everyone has needs. But you see, where most, or perhaps if someone hasn't got a big enough desire or big enough need, they might not have motivation. But I believe most people have needs, and remember, not everyone's a go-getter. But the way that if someone's got a big need, the way that you get them motivated is they have to have faith in a few things. The first thing that they've got to have faith in is they have to have faith in Mannatech, in the company. They have to have faith in the product. They have to have faith in the network marketing industry. You have to believe that this is an amazing vehicle, because if you don't believe that, you're not going to feel confident sharing this with other people. But the biggest struggle that all of us have is we don't believe in ourselves. So if you don't believe in yourself, how can you increase your belief in yourself? Well, through books, CDs, and functions. That's the only way that you can grow yourself. Or going out there and explaining the business to enough people to build that belief in yourself. Stephen, just tell me quickly, how much time have we still got?
Technically, 15 minutes.
15 minutes, okay, no, that's fine. I'll get the message across. Okay, so that's how you're going to get yourself motivated. So if I was here for the very first time tonight, what do you need to do next? I think that's what everyone wants to know. What do I actually need to do? Now, the first thing that you have to do is you have to go, if I can write it in steps, is you have to go and rekindle why you're doing this. Why are you really doing this? Are you doing it for the money? How much money would you like to earn? Are you doing this to help other people? You have to have a clear vision of why you're doing this. You have to have a burning desire, because if you haven't got a big enough reason, you're not going to go out there and go and share this and present this information to other people. No one wants to get no's and be rejected if it's not worthwhile. So you have to obviously have your why. That's always going to be, in this industry, it's always the most important thing. The dream, the why. That's always the most important. The next thing is you're going to have to make a new list of people. Now, in South Africa, we always teach that you want to at least put a list of at least 52 people together. 26 people that are perhaps product users, that you think, you know what, I can very comfortably share the product with these people. You write those names down, 26 of them. You're going to then also write down 26 people so this will be for product, and 20 people that you want to share the opportunity with. Now, the reason why, especially if you're explaining this to a new person, why you use the analogy of 52 people is because there's 52 cards in a deck of cards. And what are you looking for? Is you're looking for 4 aces. You're looking just for 4 people that can run with the business. And guess what? This gives you such a good opportunity to explain to people, guess what? There's also 2 jokers in the pack. So then already they can understand that not everyone's going to get involved. Now, think about when you fly on an airplane and you go fly all the way from sort of Australia is like South Africa. You're far away from everything. But when you fly on an airplane, there's an air hostess on the airplane, and she's got a trolley that she pushes down the aisle, and she says to people, do you want coffee or tea? Have any of you ever experienced that? Now, how often does she cry when you say, no, I'm not, actually, I'm fine for now? That doesn't happen, and that's exactly how we treat our Mannatech business, is that, you know, when someone says no, then we take it personally. We start crying about it, or we get emotional about it, or we get down about it because someone said no. It's exactly like that lady pushing the air hostess pushing the trolley down the aisle. You're saying to people, do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be wealthy? Do you want to help other people? You have to see it like that. Al Bell always says when people say to you, no, sorry, it's not for me, then you ask them, what don't you like about it? The helping people part or the making money part? You know? Because really that's what we do. So I would say for each and every single one of us, put a brand new list of people together. It's the best thing that you can do for your business. Even for me, today on the plane, I was writing a brand new names list. Because guess what? I know there's going to be 4 people that I can run with. Then everyone's going to phone me in the next few months and they say, oh my word, tell me the secret. How did you do that? The secret is that there is no secret. It's just about diligently and consistently sharing this with people every single day. Now, the third thing is contacting, inviting people. Now, it's very important when you're contacting and inviting people is that you are just trying to sell them on a DVD or a CD or a function or a coffee or a one-on-one meeting. You're not trying to explain it to people on the phone or on a Facebook message or whatever. You're just trying to set up the meeting. So it's important that this is short. I don't want to go into what scripts to use, but I mean, for instance, if I I live in Cape Town, so when I'm going up to Johannesburg and I want to contact someone, I might say to them, listen here, hi James, I know we haven't spoken in a while, but you know what, I'd love to get together with you because I'm looking at expanding my business in Johannesburg and I know you're quite well connected. It'd be great to have a cup of coffee, and if it's for you, great. If it's not a big deal. Something as simple as that, something that's very easy to say, something that's duplicatable. I mean, for me, I can't say to people, you know, I work with an American public company, we're listed on the NASDAQ stock exchange, we're looking, because that's not how I sound. Don't be fake, just be you. Everyone else is already taken, so just be yourself. When you contact and inviting people. If it's someone that you want to contact about the product, say to people, you know what, about a few years ago, we introduced this amazing technology and I'd love to send some information to you. If I send it to you, would you go through it? So, I mean, those are just a few scripts, but I mean, I would say the best thing that you could do is sit down and think, what do I feel very comfortable sharing with, what would be very comfortable for me to share with someone else? Because you see, if it's too hard, you won't do it. And if it's too long, you won't do it either. It must be simple. It's all about practice, practice, practice. And then, of course, the fourth point is you show them the plan or you share the product. Show the STP, share the product or show the plan. And then you get the last STP, which is stuff the pockets. So you see, if you're not out there presenting, exposing people, your business is not going to grow. You have to, like, we are all the advertising department of Mannatech. If we're not exposing other people to, I mean, it's network marketing. Think about it. It's network marketing. It's not net sit marketing or net do nothing marketing or net lazy marketing. It's network marketing. It's actually work. And I think sometimes people forget the work part in there. So you're networking to a bunch of people. Al's got this new thing that he's working on all the time now called Social Mobile Global. How many of you have seen that on his new presentations? So, and then of course, when you're doing the STP, the most important thing here is, as I shared earlier, is you've got to take information with you. I mean, Sinead's got for instance, I would use something like she's got it at the back there. It's basically we use the Company of Destiny booklet. You might put a DVD and CD in there, and what you're giving me is you sharing this with them, and I might share this. Sorry, I haven't slept for like, I don't know, a very long time, and I only slept 3 hours, and I woke up at 1, so I've been awake for a very long time. But when you're sharing this with people, when you're sharing this with James, say to James, listen, if I give this information to you, when would be the soonest you'd be able to review it? Because you see, sometimes there's always been this old saying in our industry saying, you've got to do the follow-up at least 24 to 48 hours later. Now, if I'm busy writing my exams in the next 2 days, I'm not going to go through that information. So ask them so that they can actually think mentally, okay, well, if I gave it to James and I said to him, James, when would be the soonest that you'd be able to work through this? If he says, you know what, I'm actually running exams now, but you know, Monday might work for me, then I could say to him, listen, so if I called you on Monday, you'd have gone through it, right? So you're just affirming what you've already told him. So that's also something that's very important. But always make sure that someone doesn't leave without the information pack, because otherwise you've wasted your time. Sure. No, that's fine then. Okay. Then the last point is follow up. Fortunes in the follow up. Follow up and close. One of the biggest secrets that I can, if there's just a few things you remember tonight, remember this. When you share the plan with someone, ask them afterwards, whether you think they're interested or not, ask them, listen, are you ready to get your account number? Always ask them. You see, sometimes we don't pop the question. That person might be ready to get started straight away, but we don't even ask them. Because we're hoping they must say to us, okay, I want to get started. Ask them, listen here, why don't you get your account, are you ready to get your account number? Now, if they say no, you see, because you want to answer, you don't want people sitting on the fence. I think so often we speak to a lot of people, and then we've got all these bunches of people sitting on the fence, but we never get a clear answer for them. You want to get an answer as quickly as possible so that you can move on. So ask them. If they say, listen, actually, no, I'm not 100% sure yet, then say to them, listen, yeah, you know, on a scale of, if 0 is you're not interested at all, and 10 is you want to get started right now, where do you feel you're at? If they say I'm a 5, then you say, listen, yeah, well, how could we get you to a 10? Do you need more information on the product or more information on the business? If they say they're a 9, then of course they're ready to get started straight away. Also, the other thing that you can also share here is if they say, listen, I'm not ready to get started, say to them, you know what, I'm so glad you said that, because what would be the best thing is for you first to go through the information that I'll follow up with you next week, Monday, or find out which time would work for them. And of course, the 6th point here is to obviously get them started, train them up, and you just do this process again. So it's really just 5 steps that you have to be really good at. And remember what I said earlier is that, I mean, you can't earn $100,000 or $200,000 a year with a $2,000 a month work ethic. It's not going to happen. If you treat this like a hobby, you're going to get a hobby income. It's such a cliche thing, but it's so true. So now I want to go into just a few basic things. And the first thing is just what my statistics were. Like when I got involved in Mannatech over the last 6-7 years, I've personally signed up, I think, 106 people, personally, that I've recruited over the last 7 years. Now, of those 106 people, this is product users. It's actually not that many. Some people do way more than that. But it's product users and business builders. Out of all those people, 14 that I recruited personally, not people that, if I recruit someone, they recruit someone else. That doesn't count. Just people that I recruit personally. 14 of them became regional directors. 7 became national directors. 0 became executive directors. 1 became a presidential director. 1 became a bronze presidential director. And 1 became a silver presidential director. That's my personal recruit. So the reason why I always explain it to people is that you've got to realize that only 3% of people that you sign up are actually going to do something. So you can't just think, I'm going to sign up 10 people and I'm going to become a platinum. It doesn't work like that. You have to go through the numbers. You have to look at the science of the business. That's all in the metrics of what you have to do. Now, if you also look at this, if you add all these numbers together, it's like 24 people, which tells me that 1 in 4 people are actually going to do something. 25% of people you sign up are actually going to go out there and go and share this with other people. They might go regional or they might go national. So that's why the biggest mistake that we make is we think that when someone signs up, they're a leader. You know when you find a leader. You can't pick your leaders, they pick themselves. So for all of us in this room here, we have to go back through what are the basic things that we do. I mean, in my experience, every single network marketer, and every single one of us sitting in this room here, when were you the most successful? When you just got started, when you knew nothing. Why? Because you build your business on excitement and passion. When you go and try and overanalyze it and try and say the perfect thing when someone asks you what you do, I'm a social entrepreneur, and you complicate it so much, guess what? Nothing happens. All of us, this business is built with passion and excitement. And all of us here have it. We just have to rekindle that. And you have to obviously go through your numbers to find your people. Now, here's the thing about this. How many people did I sign up over the last 7 years? 106. How many is that per month? I worked it out. I think it's 1.3 people. Is that amazing? No. But it's not about how many people you sign up. It's about the consistency. Is that I'm still here 7 years later. Some people gave up after 1 year. Some people gave up after 2 years. When I got involved in Mannatech, there were lots of people that were presidential and silver and executive. They're not around anymore because guess what? They didn't have the consistency. So every single person in this room here can at least sign up 1.3 people. It's like in South Africa, the perfect family is 2.2 kids. Okay? So 1.3 people, that is so doable. Who of you in this room, I know that every single one of us can do that. That is not too hard. How many people are you going to have to speak to get 1.3 people? Or to get 2 people? And it comes down to a few things. And there's the first thing, is that make a decision today that you'd rather speak to 1,000 people, or you'd rather get 1,000 no's than have one person tell you, yes, I told you so. I made the decision. I said, you know what, I don't care how many people I'm gonna have to speak to. No one will ever say to me, oh yeah, I told you not to get involved. Oh, I told you that thing wouldn't work. You have to make a decision. Make sure that no one ever comes across your path and they say, then you have to say to them, oh, actually I'm not involved with Mannatech anymore. Make a decision. Guess what? I'm never going to say that. I'm so serious about this. I almost want to say that, why don't you make a decision and a commitment with yourself that I'm going to speak, you're going to speak to 1,000 people and then you're going to quit the business afterwards. Because then you've done all you can do. And think about it like this, 1,000 people. You might think 1,000 people, that's crazy. I mean, I don't even know 1,000 people. Now think about it like this. If you go and break this down, 1,000 people, how many people is that per year? 200 people per year. This is for the 5 years. So per year, it's 200 people. So how many would that be per month? Divide that by 12. Is it like 8? No? Is it? It's like 20 or so. Is it about 20 or 16 to 20? 17 or so? But really, essentially, that's 12 people per month. Approximately 12 people per month. Sorry, 20 people per month. Which is really only 4 people per week. Which is really 1 person per day. Now, who in this room here can't speak to 1 person a day? And you only have to do this for the first 5 days of the week, and you could take the weekend off. Or you're only sharing with, maybe you work really hard for Monday and Tuesday, and you take Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off. And you see, that's the way you build a business, because you see, for you to have a great year this year, you have to have a great month, and to have a great month, you need a great week, and to have a great week, you need to have a great day. It starts with 1. And I want to end off with, just quickly with a story. And I haven't got my notes here, so I might miss out some of the facts. But I read a story that inspired me so much. I read a story about a guy called Mel Fisher. How many of you have heard of Mel Fisher? Now, he was born in like 1922, and he was born in Indiana. And he read a book when he was really, really young called Treasure Island. And he got so inspired by the story that he decided to become a treasure hunter. Now, how many of you think if you tell your parents, I want to become a treasure hunter, they're going to say you're crazy? Hey? And anyway, so he read the book, and of course, so that was what he wanted to do with his life. He wanted to become a treasure hunter. And because he heard about the Bank of Spain that got lost on a ship in, I think, the 1620s or 1650s. Just outside, there was a massive hurricane, and just outside of Key West, or a few kilometers outside of Key West, the ship actually went down. And his goal was to go and discover that treasure, the hidden treasure. And it's amazing because when he decided to go and do that, he became a diver. He actually opened one of the first diving stores of all time, I think, in that area. And he would go and dive every single day to try and discover that treasure. And he basically started his treasure search, or his treasure hunt, in 1969 is when it started. And he faced a massive amount of difficulties in his life. I mean, for instance, there was lots of lawsuits. He got ridiculed all the time. People laughed at him. They thought he was crazy because, I mean, this was in the 1900s. I mean, people had been looking for this treasure for the last 350, 360 years. No one's ever discovered that. And here he's going out every single day. And he had a mantra he used to say every single day. He used to say, today is the day. Today is the day. And he went through like being sued, and he went through massive amounts of debt. In fact, in 1975, his son and his daughter-in-law actually, while they were looking for the treasure, actually died at sea. So he went through a massive amount of difficulty. But you know what happened? 16 years later, one day he said, today is the day. And today is the day eventually became the day. And he discovered the mother lode. $450 million of gold and silver. And like I thought about that, and I thought, that reminds me so much of the business that we build. You see, how many of us would actually carry on going out there for 16 years looking for, because we had the belief, today is the day. And I don't know which day is the day that you're going to sign up your next Platinum Presidential. But you see, some people never give them the chance to ever find that today is the day, because they gave up after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years. You have to see this as a long-term thing. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. You have to say to yourself, I'm going to do this for the next 5 years. Because if it's to be, it's up to me. The business starts with you and it ends with you. And I think for each and every, in closing, I think for each and every single one of us in the room here tonight, is that you can make a decision. Why don't you become the next Platinum Presidential? Why don't you see? Because I know if you're looking at just because of statistics, maybe there's 1 or 2 people that will actually go for the next 5 years and share this with 1 person a day. Some people are not going to do that. They might do it for 1 day, or they might do it for a week or a month. Someone might even do it for a year. But there's very few people that are going to do this for year on year on year. And that's really the secret to the business, is that there's no secret. It's about the consistency. There's no magical thing you're going to find on Facebook that you're going to start signing up thousands of people. That doesn't exist. It's hard work. You have to do the basics in a great way. And why I'm sharing that with you is because we just need one person, one or two people to go and do this, and you can change the whole market. In fact, you can change the whole country. Think about, like, I believe Aussie rules or cricket's probably the biggest sport in Australia. Am I right? Is it cricket or is it? Now, if you think of cricket or rugby league or whatever, not everyone that plays the sport represents his country. Only a few people. And it's exactly like this business. It's going to just take a few people that are going to go out their way. And the best thing about this, every single one of us here can do this, but it's just going to take a few people, one or two people. Think about when Mannatech started 20 years ago. Guess what? 2 people, Jet and Ray Robbins, going out with all-out massive action is why we're sitting in this room here today. The ripple effect of 21 years later of 2 people speaking to 1,000 people a month for a few months. And most of us, or all of us, are on their downline. Including me. I'm like, really far down there. And that's why that's how we have to really see this. So thank you very much for your time. I really, really appreciate it. I hope I haven't gone over too much over time. But I think always for me, if there's just one person in this room here that goes presidential because they remembered one thing I said, then my job has been done, and I know it was worth my while. So if there's any questions, please come up to me afterwards, come ask me. I think, we all obviously cross-line with different organizations, but for me, I think just Mannatech as a whole family, I want to see everyone succeed. Because together everyone achieves more, and if the teamwork makes the dream work. So if you're doing well in Australia, it helps my business in South Africa. If I do well in South Africa, it helps your business in Australia. We need a whole team, a whole bunch of people to do extremely well in Mannatech. And that's how we're going to become one of the top 10 companies in the industry. Because we will become a $1 billion company. I promise you that. So thank you.
Mind, we do have a few more minutes, so do you want to make a quick Q&A session?
No, I actually don't want to do that. What I would prefer is maybe if we stop the session, and then I will just wait here, and if there's anyone that's got questions, because I know sometimes what it's like. Oh, just another tip before you go. Whenever you do an opportunity meeting, never have questions in your opportunity meeting. Never. One person that's negative can influence the whole bunch of people that are positive. So never at opportunity meeting, this is obviously different now, but opportunity meeting, end your meeting and say to people, you know what? If there's any questions, please, I'll be here afterwards. Come chat to any of the leaders. We're more than happy to answer any questions you have. So I think if you need to run off and get back home, I'll be here. I'm not going to sleep now. I'm pretty much up now. So, thank you very much again. Thanks, Stephen.
Okay, you heard the man. He's available for you guys to ask questions afterwards if you want to. Oops, I think I just destroyed it. I gained too much weight. But so he's available to ask for you guys available to ask any questions if you have for him as well afterwards. But thank you for coming, and we would love to see you guys all succeed like he has. He actually do walk the walk and talk the talk. Because while we were in New Zealand, when we were jumping off the tower, he was actually prospecting. He was talking to this cute girl. At first, I thought it was picking up because she was a cute girl. But he actually talked to her, then talked to the partner about the business opportunity. He never stops working. This man.
Yeah.
It's so it's unbelievable. That's why he's so tired today.
No, just the other thing on that. Like someone once said to me, he said, 2 people a day brings freedom your way. I just always remember that, and even till today, like every single week, my goal is I must just do 4 plans, just 4 plans. I just need to share this with 4 people, and that's really how you do this. So,
Yeah. So
thank you.
He actually does walk the walk and talk the talk. So thank you for coming, and hopefully we'll see you guys next time.
Just one more thing, actually. Sorry. Just one more thing, because this is actually very important. I was actually speaking to Stephen, and what we've done with a few of the leaders and remember, this is not for everyone, but for a few of the leaders that are really serious about this, Like in New Zealand, there's been a few leaders that Stephen's going to link up with, and for your market, it might be with Mandy or with Sinead. That's right? Or Sinead. We don't have a name like that in South Africa, but Sinead. Maybe if you really want one of the best things you can do is get an accountability partner. Maybe get with her afterwards and say, you know what, I want you to hold me accountable. And every single day, email her that person you're going to contact and let her know how it went. And guess what? Because you know what? I have to do that. I have to do that for myself to keep myself accountable. You need someone to hold you accountable. And maybe it's just 3 or 4 of you that do that. But I promise you, if you have got someone to hold you accountable over the next week and the next month, and probably the best thing is maybe start on Saturday. It's a brand new business period, and it gives you enough time to obviously do your names list. But that's something that really, really helps a lot as well.